going to show you how to make roses out of candy clay. These roses look really elegant, they're gorgeous, they look like you took hours to make them. But they're actually really simple, and with a little bit of practice you can totally amaze your friends and family, and they'll think you just have mad cake decorating skills. Okay, we want to start with a bag of candy melts. I use Wilton candy melts. You don't have to use that brand. Any kind of candy discs that would melt easily would work. You can use your microwave to melt them. Just do it on defrost and do it in like 30-second intervals because you don't want to over melt them. If you overheat them, they aren't going to be of a smooth consistency. You also don't want to mix any water in with them. If you get even a couple drips of water in there, the chocolate will seize up, it won't be smooth, it'll be really hard and clumpy, so you'll have to toss it out and start again. You want to give it a stir every 30 to 60 seconds or so. You can also do this in a double boiler if you'd prefer, instead of using a microwave. Okay, about melted here. Now, these candy melts come in different colors. You can buy them in a variety of colors, or you can color it yourself with any kind of icing color. I am going to make these pink. To the melted candy, you're going to add 1/3 cup of corn syrup, light corn syrup, and stir, and you'll be amazed. It only takes a few stirs, and this will really stiffen up fast. And just like that, it's the consistency of clay instead of melted chocolate. Turn your candy clay out onto a sheet of waxed paper. And then I take a paper towel and blot it a little bit. And then let it set and cool. Alright, after your candy clay has cooled off a bit, you just want to go ahead and wrap it up. And then put it in a Ziploc bag. Store it airtight. It's best if you let it sit overnight and kind of harden up a little bit. It's easier to work with than the next day. So if you make this a day ahead of time, that's even better. Okay, your chocolate dough has sat overnight. And what you're going to do is break off a small piece and go ahead and knead it a little bit because it will have hardened up overnight. Make it pliable. After you've kneaded your ball of chocolate clay here, what you're going to do is break off some tiny little pieces and roll them into about the size of a pea. Roll them into little balls about the size of a pea. Go ahead and do several of these. Okay, once you have several balls made, what you're going to do is take your finger and flatten them slightly, just like that. Make sure that the top part right here is very thin, and it can be a little thicker down here at the bottom part. So just smash it out like that. And go ahead and do that with every single one. Just smash them into little circles, making sure that the top of the circle is really pretty thin. Not so thin that it tears or you can see through it, but, you know, let's see if I can get a better angle. Especially flat right here at the top of each circle. Okay, so once you have all of your little candy clay dots, you know, kind of smashed out into flat circles, it's time to assemble them into roses. And what you want to do is peel up one, and you're simply going to take it and roll it. Roll it like that. That's going to be the center of your rose. Okay. Then to make a rose bud, you're going to take 3 additional dots here, 3 additional petals, these are your rose petals, and you're going to place them on, wrap the first one around like this. You want to make sure that the petal you wrap around is about the same height as the center part, so it looks right. Then take a second dot and overlap that over the first one and wrap that one around. And finally take a 3rd little petal and overlap that onto the second one. Wrap it around, and I kind of tuck it under the first one there. So you've got 3 small petals wrapped around. And then I kind of like to pull off the excess there and kind of get rid of that. You can take a minute to further flatten out the tips of your petals, to kind of fold them out, give each rose its own personality. Some of the petals might be folded back a little bit. And there it is. Beautiful. And the thing I like about these flowers is they taste a whole lot better than a big glob of buttercream icing. And I think they look nicer, and I think they're easier to make personally than using buttercream icing and making roses on a nail. What do you think, Brooklyn? Are these roses yummy?
Yes.
Would you like to make one?
Yes.
Let's see if you can make one, huh? All right, let's see your rose, Brooklyn. Here, tip it down. Look at that. A 4-year-old who's never done it before just made a rose. Very cute. Was that easy to do? Fun? Now you want to eat it, don't you?
Yes.
Go ahead. All right, we'll do a couple more here. Take your first one and just roll it. Roll it between your fingers so it looks like that.
What are you going to do with this?
Take another petal, put it on to the little center part that you rolled. Take a second petal, overlap it on the first, wrap it around. And the third petal, overlap onto the second one. Tuck it under the first one. And I pinch off the extra dough. And here you have a rosebud. You can play with the petals and make it look however you want. Now if you want to make a little bit larger rose, take your rosebud that you've made and you're going to put 5 additional petals around the outside, overlapping each one as you go, just like you did the layer of 3. So start here, place 1 petal on, overlap the second petal, overlap again with the third petal, continue around with the 4th and the 5th, overlapping the 4th, tucking it under, and here you have a little bit larger one. Again, I like to kind of like to move the petals about and kind of turn some of them, fold some of them over a little bit as I go. And there's your larger rose. Easy peasy. Again, I try to get a little bit of that excess off the bottom there. Ta-da! Now let's say you want to make a really big rose. Just keep going with the odd numbers. You did 3 around the first circle. You did a layer of 5 petals the second round. And if you want to add a third round, use 7. Go ahead and layer those on and you'll have a much larger rose. Do it the same way you did before, overlapping each petal. And there you have your big huge rose. It's got the middle one that we made, a layer of 3 petals going around, a layer of 5 petals going around, and the last layer on the outside of 7 petals going around. Nice big beautiful rose. Continue doing that with the rest of the chocolate clay. Go ahead and make them into little balls, smash them out into petal shapes, and form them into roses. and you can use up all of the dough at once. That's what I usually do. If you try to save it, even in a Ziploc bag, it tends to get a little too dry over time and it's too difficult to work with. But if you make up the whole batch at once, you can keep the flours then for a good month. Just put them in a, like a Tupperware container or something so that they're kept dry and dust-free. And then whatever you don't use on your cake, you can go ahead and save and use them at a later date on another cake or something, on top of cookies, cupcakes. And just make sure you keep them out of your kids' reach, because if they find them, they will eat them. And that's how you make a chocolate rose. I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and you can put this to use and impress all of your friends and family by using these chocolate roses on your own cakes. If you enjoyed this, let me know. Let me know if you give it a try and how they turn out. Send me a picture, and I'll be back later with some more cake decorating lessons. And you can always visit me on my website at dawnmeehan.com.